Hello, and thanks for joining us for this edition of the Newsfeed. I'm Ben Fagan.
And I'm Carmen Lodato.
Virginia Tech is home to hundreds of student organizations. These groups usually apply for and receive grant money from the Student Budget Board, but this year the money ran out. Female a cappella group Sensations applies for a small grant of $1,200 from Budget Board each semester. Julie Owens, treasurer of the group, turned in the grant application form over a month before the event, according to protocol. This year, Owens was told that there is no money left in the budget for their spring concert in the GLC. In their 11 years, Sensations has never had an issue getting funded.
It's been said that, there's been an influx of student organizations, and that's why they're having a lot of trouble with, budgeting and all of the money they can give out. But I know that, for student organizations that have been here for a really long time, it's very frustrating because it's kind of just like comes out of nowhere, and it throws people, especially a cappella groups who don't make a ton of money, kind of throws us off guard a little bit.
Owens plans to advise next year's treasurer to turn in the request form during the first week of classes to ensure they get funding. Requests to speak with the director of the Budget Board received no response. The U.S. government's Highway Safety Agency may reopen an investigation of Jeep gas tanks that can rupture and cause fires and rear-end crashes. National Highway Traffic Safety Administration Chief Mark Rosekin says the agency isn't happy with the Jeep situation and says reopening the probe is among options on the table. Jeep manufacturer Fiat Chrysler agreed to recall 1.56 million older model Jeep Grand Cherokees and Liberties in 2013 to install trailer hitches to protect the tanks. But Rosekin says he's unhappy with the pace of the repairs. At the end of 2014, only 3% of the Jeeps had been fixed. Many owners complained to the agency that dealers didn't have parts. Rosekin tells reporters that the agency is waiting for Chrysler's first quarter progress report before taking further action.
High schools and middle schools across the state of Virginia are working together to save lives. Newsfeed reporter Paige Lipinski is joining us from the newsroom to tell us more. Paige?
Thanks, Carmen. After an increase in teen driving car accidents, the state of Virginia has begun a new campaign. The Arrive Alive campaign, funded by a state highway safety grant, has begun for the state of Virginia. In an effort to capture young teens' attention, 60 high schools and middle schools across the state are working on programs and social media messages that promote safety in vehicles. The Virginia State Police, as well as emergency management, are working together to help the cause of this campaign by holding mock car crashes at local high schools to show students what can happen if they don't focus on driving safely.
If they actually see something, as opposed to having somebody sit in the classroom and read to them, it sticks in their mind a little bit. That we had everything down. Even we had the mock, role players that actually had, makeup and different things, things that stick in their mind more than just, having someone read to them. So hopefully it'll just, when they're making their decisions what they're going to do, that they'll make the proper decision before they go out for prom or, with the warm weather and everything else.
Local fire and rescue are also involved in helping the campaign in hopes for a safer springtime.
Hopefully we don't have to cut any dead kids out of cars anymore. That's something we have to do around here. We don't want to do it on, the fire rescue side. The police department doesn't want to do it. Nobody wants to do a death notification on a 17-year-old if we can help it. So if they're scared and they make some good decisions out of it, I think it will be helpful.
Hopefully, with prom and graduation around the corner, young teens stay aware of how to stay safe while driving. It is clear the state of Virginia is working diligently on saving lives. I'm Paige Lipinski, back to you in the studio.
The New River United is an adult recreational soccer league for the Blacksburg, Christiansburg, and Radford area that has its seasons in the fall and spring. Players in the team range from students to professionals, making it difficult to make a schedule that fits for everyone. Newsfeed reporter Alex Perez tells us more.
From playing to practicing, the NRU has had trouble scheduling team events due to the wide range of participants. Currently, the NRU does not own any of their fields and is renting them from the towns and county, competing with other leagues. Logan Taylor, a team captain within the NRU, and Jeff Kinney, the executive director of the club, tells us the difficulties of organizing teams and the league.
I'd say that really the toughest part about it was, being able to recruit everybody. Getting 16 college kids to cough up $90 is not an easy task, it comes down to. Yeah, scheduling is definitely a big issue too.
It's usually like a 2-week process to come up with at least the original first schedule.
Scheduling can become exponentially more difficult when bad weather threatens the area. Any rain and residual water on the fields will often lead to rescheduling so that the fields are not ruined.
That's definitely a very frustrating thing to me.
That's probably the most difficult parts of this job, is figuring out the weather.
The issue lies in the management of the league's fields.
We don't own the fields, so we actually have the ability to lose the fields if we go out there and tear them up.
NRU must take extra precautions to ensure they don't harm the fields. Several principals, for example, have disallowed NRU from using their fields because of damages.
Really the only thing that they could do to avoid these problems is either get an anti-rain dance that works or buy their own fields.
Well, one big thing that we're trying to work on is getting ourselves some turf fields, because then all of a sudden, if it's raining, pouring, snowing, doesn't make a difference.
Virginia Tech is currently working on a project to lay turf down on the intramural fields. Having access to the fields and their stadium lights would give NRU much more flexibility in scheduling. Kinney is also an assistant coach for Virginia Tech's soccer team, and he's confident his connections within the department will help the NRU down the line. Reporting for the newsfeed, I'm Alex Perez.
Virginia Tech is placing turf down at its intramural fields, and Kinney hopes to have access to those fields on Friday and the weekends for the NRU. For more information on the New River United, visit www.newriverunited.com. Just ahead on the newsfeed, the Virginia Tech Biology Department has bridged the gap between biology and engineering.
That story and more after this break.
Carlos.
When you throw away money on wasted electricity, you're throwing away everything you could have bought with it. Saving energy saves you money. Learn more at energysavers.gov.
Welcome back to this edition of the Newsfeed. We continue with news coming out of Blacksburg.
Virginia Tech, as a research university, strives to invent the future, and the biology department is doing just that. They have bridged the gap between engineering and biology. Newsfeed reporter Noelle Lane has more.
I'm here outside the Bio-Inspired Engineering Science Lab, where they are studying the different elements of bats and owls. ICTES holds one of the many bio-inspired science labs. The scientists who work in these labs are trying to merge both science and engineering. These centers started earlier this year. One center is studying owls and how they fly without making a noise. They are working with companies that build airplanes to see if they can share the information. The lab in ICTES is studying bats. They have several bats on loan from the Smithsonian. They are looking at their ears and noses to try to learn about the sonar capabilities. They have been building a robotic bat to try to understand the sonar pattern. These students are using different technologies to build these bats.
We're recreating a biomimetic robotic bat head to study the effects of their dynamic baffles on the emitting and transmitting of their beam patterns. So, should I open these up? So here in the lab we have some bats that were actually from China.
These students have been given an extraordinary opportunity to work with some of the best people in these fields. Ralph Mueller is the head of the department for bat studying.
We are working on the sonar system of bats. We believe that the sonar system of bats is a particularly capable far sense, but there's no blind bat, but they can get along without seeing, and they can go through very dense forest, breakneck speed, and we would like to do that too.
These students spend a lot of time working in their lab. Hopefully the research that this center does will help create a better future. This is Noelle Lane reporting for the Newsfeed.
The field of bio-inspired engineering growing, this center will hopefully make remarkable discoveries and help this field grow even more.
Squirrels aren't the only animals that consume nuts from Virginia Tech's trees. The Urban Forestry Department at Virginia Tech has conducted research and compiled a list of edible fruit and nut trees in our urban environment here on campus. Many visitors to the Tech campus may not realize that they are surrounded by snacks. Tech's campus is home to 7 species of fruit trees and 3 species of nut trees, all of which are safe to eat. Former urban forestry graduate student Lily Campbell created and published a map of all edible trees to increase awareness to the Blacksburg community. Although Campbell has graduated and moved away from the New River Valley area, her legacy lives on in other urban forestry students like Catherine Bukowski.
We're both interested in fruit and nut species being trees that are underutilized currently in urban areas, and then we started noticing how many were on campus. Talked about how that's going to waste if people don't know where the locations are.
There are many benefits to gathering the urban fruits and nuts found on campus. Gathering allows the community to become more interactive with their landscape while also cutting down on the waste produced by the falling of the fruits and nuts. To find the urban trees and nuts on campus, visit the map at urbanforestry.frec.vt.edu.
Virginia Tech offers students a unique opportunity to work with athletes. Through the use of assistantships and internships, the athletic department offers a mutually beneficial program for graduate and undergraduate students looking to pursue a career in their field. Newsfeed reporter CJ Fiala has more.
Each year, Virginia Tech students planning to pursue a career in athletic training join the Virginia Tech Athletic Department to gain hands-on experience with NCAA Division I athletes.
Virginia Tech Athletic Training Department offers a competitive program to its students. Every year, the department offers up graduate assistantships and undergraduate internships to students planning to pursue a career in athletic training. The department offers undergraduate students unpaid internships that give the students valuable experience for their resumes. Tara Holderman is a junior human nutrition food exercise major that joined the department to get the experience needed to compete for a job upon graduation. As an intern, this year Holderman was assigned to assist the Virginia Tech men's tennis team, where she gets hands-on experience helping the athletes work through their injuries.
Honestly, anyone who's working in the exercise science, athletic training, PT, PA, maybe even medical school, with this you get hands-on experience the more you do it, so I think it would be helpful to anybody that would be interested.
Adam Veet is a former U.S. Army veteran who came to Virginia Tech to earn his master's degree in athletic training. He receives a set monetary stipend each semester and takes classes to work towards his master's degree.
I was a student trainer like I talked about, and I probably was with one person 90% of the time I was there, just with one person. So to see him back on the court after a pretty bad knee injury was very rewarding for me. So same thing with any sport, I think, kind of seeing success and happiness from people that you went through that emotional, like, I may never play again moment with. It's probably the best part, and just the appreciation.
Although many of these students do not get paid for their efforts, they gain valuable experience in a very competitive job market. Reporting in Blacksburg for the Newsfeed, I'm CJ Fiala.
There are currently more than 40 students in the program, and each trainer gets experience with multiple varsity teams. Students interested in joining the program can find the application at hookiesports.com/sportsmed.
Warmer temperatures aren't the only thing spring is bringing to our area, it's also bringing allergies. Newsfeed reporter Ashley Adams has more on what experts say could be the worst allergy season in years.
Springtime is usually a welcome change here in Blacksburg when blistering winds and freezing temperatures give way to blooming flowers and buzzing bees. But for allergy sufferers, it's a different story. Instead of ushering in spring, those flowers and bees signal the start of something else, allergy season. Emily Petrie is one of about 50 million people here in the United States who suffer from allergies. For her, spring isn't such a welcome change.
Around this time of year, I start getting like itchy eyes, runny nose. You can hear in my voice. I wake up and like my head's kind of clogged with like, I don't know, you just kind of feel pressure.
Some bad news for Petrie and other allergy sufferers. Experts are forecasting a rough allergy season brought on by a wet winter and intensified by a very hot summer. And for many allergy sufferers, symptoms will persist even after the seasons change.
And all of like the trees are like dying and there's like leaves everywhere. Like I start like sneezing and stuff again, and then it kind of cools down in the winter when everything's like barren. And then as soon as things start popping back up, like flowers and stuff like that, it starts like coming back.
And that means Petrie has had plenty of time to prepare for whatever spring brings her way.
A couple quick tips for you if you are suffering from allergies this time of year. First, be sure to check those pollen counts before you head out the door. If you see that they're really high, try to limit your outdoor activity on those days. Second, don't count on just shutting windows and doors to manage your symptoms while you're at home. If you find that you're still sneezing, maybe have a stuffy nose, try investing in a good air filter. That can really help. Third, if you're taking medication, be sure that you're taking it as directed by your doctor, or if you get it over the counter, just make sure you're following those dosage instructions really carefully. If it is prescribed, make sure you're keeping up with your refills. Now, if you find that you're still having some trouble with your symptoms, even after you follow those tips, you can always go to the Allergy and Immunization Clinic at Shifford Health Center. You can make appointments over the phone or online through the Student Health Portal. Reporting for the Newsfeed, I'm Ashley Adams.
Thanks, Ashley. For more information about Shifford Health Center and the Allergy Clinic, go to www.healthcenter.vt.edu.
That will wrap up this edition of the Newsfeed. If you have a story idea for the Newsfeed, let us know. Send us an email at thenewsfeednrv@gmail.com. Thanks for watching. I'm Ben Fagan.
And I'm Carmen Ladata.